Evening. Hello, welcome back to the show, you beautiful people, on this fine Friday evening. Thank you for choosing to spend your Friday with us. I'm not organised, but I didn't want to be accused of being late again, right? Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for spending your Friday evening with us here on the channel for another episode of 40k After Dark. If you are not used to 40k After Dark, well, we'll probably talk a little bit about hobby. Probably talk a little bit about 40k. We will certainly talk a little bit about the topic, and the topic could be something we refer to throughout the evening. But if you're a seasoned veteran from 40k After Dark, you will realise that often it will disappear off on random tangents about sick, disgusting jokes, random life events, things that happen in the real world, our experiences, etc. At some point in the near future, I expect to be joined by my beautiful, wonderful assistant, my wife Luce. She's just finishing up having a shower, so she'll be with us soon. So we can talk sensibly for just a moment. But welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Big shout out Nordust44 for gifting a membership already. Every single stream, man, you're a hero. And Chris Pantelli, who's become a Hesea all by himself. I love a chat full of just green names. It makes me happy. Evening. Let me know where you're tuning in from, what you're drinking on this Friday evening. And if you haven't already, smash all those magical YouTube buttons for me. So hit that like if you enjoy the content, hit subscribe if you haven't already. And if you can't chat live, it's because you're not a subscriber. And if you're watching this again on demand, then you can still put a comment in. But if you're not a subscriber, it's free, right? Why wouldn't you do that? You know? Why wouldn't you do that? Things are moving behind me because I put something there a minute ago. It makes me nervous. So anyway, welcome back, everybody, to the stream. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. I'm going to talk a little... Oh, and don't forget, hit the bell end. Always flick the bell end. Like that, right? So you're notified every single time we go live or drop a new video. How are we doing? 148 people watching, just 51 likes on the stream already. 2 new members is a great start. 3 new members is a great start. Nerek, thank you for becoming a Hesea tier, our bottom level tier. We have 6 of the finest tiers for you beautiful people if you do, in fact, want to come and hang out on the stream, in the Discord, chat on members only chats. There's multiple different tiers. Skull tier is just a better way of entering the Great Hall and getting involved in members only chats. Jarl gets you access to a monthly Combat Patrol giveaway. Haskell gives you behind the scenes footage, some serious behind the scenes footage coming soon for Haskell's. Jesus, I can't talk tonight. I need more mead. Thanes for access to the Only Thanes WhatsApp chat. There's like 25 people in there right now. And Aces if you want to get a reach around from Joe. Big shout out to Nerek for becoming a member, Noodle Basket for gifting 5, Neil Donison for gifting 5 as well. What's going on? 30 new members straight away. And thank you, Mordy Hammer, for the poo. So if you haven't checked it out already, right at the top of the page, there is in fact a poll that I set up earlier before we went live. When we scheduled the stream, I set this poll up straight away. What's happening? Amsterdam, thank you for the 5. Jesus, calm it down, people. We've got all evening, right? We've got an hour and a half. You're all amazing. Thank you so much, right? So what happened was I started with a poll.
There is no way a franchise that has plots like Demon Culeber can become mainstream. And if they tone down the grim dark, what's the point of it becoming mainstream?
We're going to get there, right? That's exactly what I'm about to start talking about. Yes, and thank you for the 10. Ferret's Revenge, welcome to the channel as a Jarl. At some point this month in Discord, the Jarl's Only giveaway will go live. And when the Jarl's Only giveaway goes live, you will be able to just click a button because you're a Jarl or above, and it'll put you in with a chance of winning, and you will win a Combat Patrol box of your choice that I will somehow get posted to you. I need to sort out last month's winner. I've got his details. We'll be sending him a Combat Patrol box. But he picked Wild Eaters, so I had to wait for it to come out. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not bitter that it took so long for Wild Eaters to come out. Anyway, so, right. I put a poll at the top, right? I would encourage people to vote in the poll if you get the chance. I was interested to know the community's opinions on this. The question is very simple. Can Warhammer 40k actually become mainstream? I'll give you some context, right? The context is simply this. We have spoken for the longest time as creators, and GW seems to be listening. When I say we, I don't just mean me. There's many people banging the same drum about 40k becoming more accessible. One of the reasons for it becoming more accessible, or we want it to become more accessible, is because it then means that more people are likely to come and join the 40k community, start getting involved. The hobby gets bigger, the customer base gets bigger. It's better for GW, they make more money. It's better for me, it's better for creators, it's better for everybody who makes a living of this space. It's also better for everybody who just uses this space to hang out and have fun, because it means that there's more potential opponents, there's more diversification of opponents. It's just better all round, right? There's certain There's a certain, I think, stereotype of wargamer we could probably all describe. And I have found, I think actually, over the course of the last year or two, and maybe this is just because the channel has grown slightly, but the diversification of audience has grown slightly. 2-3 years ago, I probably didn't have any females in the audience whatsoever. Now they're starting to appear and starting to become more frequent. That's good. So a hobby becoming mainstream, again, logically means that the diversification of people in the hobby grows. That's better for everybody. You don't want to meet 5 of the exact same person if you go for a GT. It's great, I think, to meet 5 completely different people with completely different backgrounds, completely different experiences. We're brought together because of this wonderful thing called Warhammer 40k, but then we just get to share and talk and learn, and I think that's amazing, right? And so 40k becoming mainstream increases that chance. But it's not without risk. Okay. Something going mainstream, something becoming more common, more popular, even, dare I say, entering popular culture, comes with its risks. One of the things, for me personally, that I love so much about Warhammer 40k is the narrative, the lore, the setting, the grim, dark, horrifically terrifying universe that exists, that is the current 40k narrative. You could argue that if Games Workshop was to aim to go more mainstream with the hobby in general, we could lose some of that grimdark, much like a Yeston Super Chat. Some of that grimdark could be toned down and taken away from us, at which point we start to lose some of the core of what is the narrative setting that we love so much. And that comes with its negatives, okay? That means that it starts to maybe, to a point, not become the same universe we fell in love with at the start. However, like I've said already, we've been banging that drum for accessibility. It does look like GW has listened to the creators and the community on the whole, and that accessibility is coming down. That barrier to entry is coming down. It looks like the hobby is going to become more accessible. It's going to become potentially easy to play, easy for people to pick up, easy for people to learn. I tried briefly to teach Luce 9th edition. We gave up very, very quickly. I'd be more comfortable with teaching her 10th from what I've seen so far than I would have done if it was still 9th edition, right? And so the accessibility improving is definitely something that I'm all positive about. That lowered barrier to entry means we could have potentially more customers, more players. If we then link this directly into the fact that there's the Amazon deal, and every man in his knob, is your mic in the right place? I can't unmute it until you're in the right place because it makes that scratchy sound. So tell me when you're happy. You happy? She's here. She's here. You can all say hello. So obviously the Amazon deal is coming. That comes with that man that everyone puts in their content titles all the time just to get some more clicks. What's his name? Barry Carville or something?
Simon?
Simon? Yeah, maybe Simon. Simon Carville. Something like that.
Oh, wait, hang on. No, say his last name again.
Barry Carville.
Henry. That's it.
I don't think Lee's got the sarcasm. But with people like him getting involved in the public eye, with Amazon picking up the deal, and at the same time, I've actually said this, I said this a couple of times at Fest at the weekend, right? Despite the fact that Fest was a bit of a shower of shit, I said at Fest that the increased accessibility and the lowered barrier to entry and a new edition hitting at roughly the same sort of time that things like the Amazon announcement are happening and Carvel's getting involved is an absolute ball of play from GW in terms of timings. Hopefully we won't be waiting 3 years for anything to be coming out on Amazon. So we want those something to be similar because that's great exposure for the hobby, brings more people in, more eyes in. How many people out there have you spoken to in the past who got into Warhammer 40k because they played Dawn of War? Hadn't read the books, didn't care about the narrative, didn't know the Horus Heresy, but they played Dawn of War and they wanted to know, what is this Warhammer 40,000? I'm going to start looking at what is Warhammer 40,000. And so if we have that TV series as well, we get more people in. So the question to you is, I don't have an answer for this, by the way. I want to put this on there now. 40k After Dark, as well as shit jokes. And this is a topic that I think Luce can get involved in. I'm trying to pick topics on Friday nights that we could all talk about, including wives, girlfriends, etc. So you can stick. There's no excuse for not putting this on your big TV at home and having the whole family watch. But one of the question I've got for you people now is, could it become more mainstream? But actually the more important part of the question is in the video description. And that is, do we want it to? Because there's pluses and negatives. Because you take any cool little club that you're in, yes, I use the word cool. You take any little club that you're in, any little group of people that you're in, any little niche, and you explode it out and offer it up to everybody and you let anybody come in. How many times has that happened and been a positive experience? Like, you can apply this to many things in life, okay? I feel like anything in life, you could have a little group of people, a WhatsApp chat, you know, a group of friends, a club that you go to, you meet your mates at a pub for pool night, I don't know, anything like that. And then suddenly it goes from 4 people to 20 people and you go, this has kind of lost its spark. It's not kind of as fun as it used to be. Because it's too much, there's too many people and we're catering to too many people. There's the other part of it as well, right? You end up catering to too many people. Now, I suggest with the customer base that already exists for 40k, maybe that's not a problem. Maybe we've kind of met everybody who's going to kind of be slightly different in the hobby anyway. And like I said to you right at the start, perhaps having 10 times the amount of people means we've got 10 times the amount of diversification, and that's amazing. That's good. Or, much like Ben in chat, do you just flat don't give a shit? I don't care if it becomes mainstream or not. It won't make any difference to me. Let me know. Let me know in chat. What do you think, Luce? Have you got a thought on this?
I'm a fairly mainstream person anyway. Like, I reckon...
Are you?
Yeah, I reckon if a clipboard person in a town centre managed to get me with their clipboard, I'd probably tick all the boxes that's like the majority opinion of any product.
Do you?
Because I reckon I'm just fairly mainstream.
I
anyway.
don't think you're that mainstream. Do our kids go to school?
No, but that wasn't. That was me capitalising on an opportunity that fell before me, and thousands, hundreds of thousands of families did the same.
But
and that's even starting to.
But being a home educator means you're not strictly mainstream. In my opinion, anyway. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh no.
Ferret's Revenge, welcome to the channel as a Jarl. Thank you so much. Sorry, Luce. The Dax, thank you so much for joining us as a Scold. 19 new members already tonight. You people are amazing. And I've got to add 16 to my total. Thank you so much. Carry on.
No, I don't. No. So Garci's just put Luce is definitely not mainstream at all. I feel like I am. I definitely pay for pink. If there's a water bottle that's pink, I'll go for the pink one.
You made me find a different one on Amazon that was in fact pink
because I wanted
and
the pink
cost
one,
more.
Which, I mean, how easy is that to market towards probably even my demographic? Make it pink and glittery. Done. Sold out even.
It'd be interesting to know, actually. There is a couple of perhaps possible positives that could come from it being mainstream. Like, if they had to wildly increase their production capacity because their customer base increased tenfold, maybe, just maybe, they could become so mass-produced they could start becoming cheaper.
Yeah.
But then sometimes mass-producing cheaper leads to poorer quality.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting to see if that make a difference as well. Fucking hell, he's at it again. He must be out of YouTube jail. Liberty Fires, thank you for the 5. Liberty Fires is amazing. I hung out with Liberty Fires for most of Saturday, or half of Saturday at least, at Fest. And it's nice that I hung out with Liberty Fires at Fest because there's fuck all else to do there apart from Q. So thank you so much for the 5 year hero. And then, as Joe has affectionately named him, Big Daddy John. BDJ, Big Daddy John is in with the massive 50 gifted. John, you're a hero. And he gifted like 20 yesterday as well. Not as many as Mandy. She gifted 100 yesterday.
Mandy's amazing.
Mandy's incredible. With GW barely being able to satisfy the demand for plastic crack for the current player base, I doubt that it'll be to our advantage. Unless, Keanu, they wildly increase production, right? That was a funny joke, says David Ring. So I saw someone say as well that Slanesh would get them cancelled. Imagine the mainstream members. Oh no, I don't want mainstream members. I like all my crazy people. Mainstream feels inevitable. May as well look at the positives of it rather than negatives. I don't know if there is many negatives. The only thing, like I said, my biggest thing about negative would be the potential for people to try and pull away from the grimdark, tone it down, calm it down, right? That's my only concern. And I feel like GW aren't stupid enough to perhaps think that that's the right answer for their product because it's a grim, dark setting, and that's why we love it. They don't always have to be completely grim dark. It always doesn't have to be always terribly evil. Like Luce was saying to me literally today, that one of the things that piqued her interest was the popular culture references that we talked about on stream before.
Yeah.
So I'm actually more interested in that. And doing those little things to hook people in is an interesting play, and I don't think that's something they should stop. But they can still do that and keep the majority grimdark setting. I do also like the fact that often they can be quite satirical. That's something I'm a big fan of as well. So, new factory equals China. I mean, possibly. That concerns me for quality control, right? They need to open up a whole new factory. Yeah, they would. 100% they would. 100%. So John has apparently gifted loads of memberships, and then Ben has said, yay, Luce gets a membership.
I've said thanks, Daddy John. I've used my manners.
Wow.
Here is the problem, brother. If 40k becomes mainstream, it will be subject to woke attacks and social media trying to influence law, and if you disagree, you will be called a bigot.
So B, without using as many words, that's basically what I'm talking about when I say about calming it down, right? That when I talk about calming down the grim dark setting, that's basically what I'm saying. I was also not trying to upset people, okay?
Yeah.
But that's something that does concern me, and I think that has happened to a point. And I think that people have to realise that a grim, dark narrative setting isn't designed to be offensive to anybody. It's just not. It's a narrative setting. It's not and it's a narrative setting that's in a sci-fi universe with aliens and super soldiers. They're not attacking anyone. There is no target there. So I don't know how people can really. I don't know how that could ever be a problem necessarily. So actually, I'm less concerned about that one. If I'm honest with you, at the moment, I feel like if that was something that was going to happen, it was probably already going to have happened, right? In the meantime, Bonsai Kitty Gaming, thank you for the 2. Drakkar Slanesh will get cancelled. PC Police, yay. I don't know if they. I mean, I think that the way that Drakkari and Slanesh are described currently is also. I think I'm comfortable. I'd be comfortable with my 10-year-old reading about it. So I don't see there to be a need for it to be cancelled necessarily. So Drakkari and Slanesh, because you looking confused over there.
Mm-hmm.
Like Slanesh is the god of excess.
Is that the one with 7 boobs?
Pleasure and pain and 7 boobs, yeah.
Right.
God of excess, right?
Okay.
So the followers and worshippers of Slanesh often push to excess. They're probably the people that you'd see snorting crack off of each other's arse cracks, right? That's Slanesh.
Making a porno in the back room.
Exactly, yeah. Right.
Yeah, okay.
But so although that is Slanesh and Drakkari are debased, they feed off of people's excruciating pain, etc. Right? Again, grim dark setting. But I don't feel like I'd ever be completely uncomfortable with my 10-year-old necessarily reading narrative around them, because every time I've read any narrative around Slanesh, it's not that graphical. Right?
Well, there was a time when I'm sure parents were probably uncomfortable with how Two-Face got his name and with how Joker became so famous, infamous. So this is probably just scaling up with the times, I suppose.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think kids read way worse.
You got Pornhub, right?
Yeah, OnlyFans.
No more night laws leaving blood eagling loyal Marines. I don't see it being a problem. I honestly, I've seen the biggest argument I've seen about not going mainstream is people worried that it would get, and it could be toned down a bit, I guess. And that's why I put that forward as my reason for it not happening, is that they could tone down the grim dark setting and they could tone down the evil graphical nature of it, right? But I actually don't think that that's at risk, and I also don't think currently it's all that bad. I don't see anything that exists in Warhammer 40k that's that grim outside of stuff that already exists. Blood Eagles from Night Lords, cool. It's narrative for Vikings. It's in the Viking series. Like, that's something that already, and in fact, it's not only in the Viking series, it's graphically represented in the Viking series as well. I'm sure there's a scene in one of the series, like series 4 or 5, where they actually show a Blood Eagle. So, if that's something that they're happy to show on a TV show that's on Amazon, I want to say Amazon.
What,
Amazon?
the Vikings?
Vikings is Amazon. Yeah, I think Vikings is Amazon. Like, I don't see it being a problem.
That's based on history, yeah?
I mean, yes, it is based on history.
So that 40k hasn't happened. Well,
No, but that's not the point. Like, just because it hasn't happened doesn't mean
it hasn't happened.
Just because it hasn't happened, because it's 40k, it's set in the future, doesn't mean you need to set a different standard to it to what currently.
But I think because it hasn't happened, people might think there's wiggle room to change it. Whereas if it already happened, you can't change it because then you're accused of sanitizing.
I don't want 40k to become Star Wars and become almost comic booky.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that. Although saying that, again, the accessibility for kids at Star Wars level now is mad. Every kid loves Star Wars, so there is a positive to it. but is Vikings mainstream? I mean, it's Amazon TV, and most people that I've spoken to know about it. Okay, all right, chat. Okay, let's go on a tangent. Define mainstream, because Dan Gadd also chucked in a two quid super chat. Thank you so much for the 2, man. You're a hero. 130 plus stores in UK high streets already mainstream? Question mark. You could argue 130 high street stores makes it mainstream. So define mainstream to me.
I would say mainstream is.
It's hard, right?
It is. Okay. I would say mainstream is the most common thing people choose. So the easiest thing to get hold of is the mainstream thing. Maybe.
Relatively well known by most households and quite popular. Would you consider that mainstream?
No, because that can be entirely dependent who you socialise with. And so their household is similar to your household.
Yeah, okay, but I'm not saying people that you know. I'm just saying in general.
But then if I don't know them, how do I know that they're mainstream?
But you can get a feeling in general that something is well known. If something appears frequently on the national news, it's probably pretty well known. Okay? You can get a feeling for what's well known without it necessarily being something your friends... Okay, all right, okay, example. Cool? Because someone's put this in there.
Are pants mainstream?
Not in this house. So someone put in here earlier, right, a reference I was going to bring up later, and I'm going to bring it up now because someone's already put it in chat. Game of Thrones. Okay. Do you watch Game of Thrones?
No. I
Do your friends watch Game of Thrones? No, not really.
Do they know the naked men in it? Probably,
so,
yes.
But
do they actually watch it?
Would you consider Game of Thrones mainstream?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I would.
But that's because the people I socialise with it do not watch it. So it doesn't come up on my radar.
So relatively graphical, full of naked bodies and sex, but mainstream. Like, if Game of Thrones is okay, I feel like 40k is pretty safe.
I don't watch Love Island. And that definitely is
I don't think anyone does with a brain cell.
There definitely is millions of people that watch Love Island who do have brain cells.
Watching Love Island should be like...
I'm sorry, and you play with?
Watching Love Island should be like a national test. And if you have been proven to watch Love Island, euthanized.
What is this with you saying the word proven differently?
Proven.
Lately. What's that? What's
going
on over there?
That's how you say it. Luton says, I just read that comment. They discussed 40k on Radio 4, according to my mum. It's a great comment. Well, so does Radio 4 make it mainstream?
No.
Garthy says, it's been on Jeremy Vine's show a few times on Radio 2. Okay. I'd say in the UK, most people know of the plastic crack addiction. So, all right, okay, let's tweak the question for chat slightly. Would you therefore, based also on Dan's comment, already consider 40k to be mainstream? Because I have a little sneaking suspicion that it probably nowadays could be considered mainstream. Warhammer Fest, 10,000 people queuing on the Saturday, 8,000 on the Sunday, 8,000 on the Monday.
That's feel like 40k is possibly one of the best kept secrets because you don't know who plays it, who paints it, who builds it, who does anything with it until somebody talks about it, and somebody has to be the brave one to talk about it in the social group. So
I think that was true years ago.
I still think it's true.
No, I don't think that's true anymore. I think that's true years ago, but there's people that I know now who will just openly post about it on their Facebook page, right? Which is something that's going out to, say, hundreds of friends, and then you can guarantee if they've got 200-300 friends on Facebook, they probably don't know 200-300 Warhammer players, but they'll just post about it.
Yeah,
they'll just share it.
Are they people who are their friend? Because if they're your friend, why would your friend be like, shit?
We have an interesting split in chat. Lehman Russ says no. Bonsai Kitten Gaming says no. If it's similar to gore and violence to the boys, it'll be great. Well, that's the thing. I actually think TV, over the course of the last decade, I feel like TV's got more graphic and it's got more dark. TV in general.
Yeah, there's stuff on TV now.
Yeah,
that
right.
I feel like, whoo!
So everybody that I've ever heard is like, I'm really worried about 40k becoming mainstream because they'll tone it down. But I'm looking at popular culture, I'm looking at TV, and I'm thinking it's getting darker and more graphical. And as we learn new techniques in terms of special effects, and we learn new computer-based techniques for shows, I feel like it's getting more graphical because it's easier to show disgusting things on TV now because of special effects. Back in the olden days, years and years and years ago, before we had all the sci-fi, all the SFX computers, etc., to show someone having a limb hacked off, it was very difficult to do. You know, you borderline had Monty Python's The Black Knight. That's what you had, where he was literally hopping around with his leg folded up, going, "You chopped my leg off," right? That's what TV was 50 years ago.
The golden years.
But that's what it was years and years ago, right? Like, someone being shot was just fall over, right? But it was. But it was.
It would be a dagger under the armpit, and then you'd have to be really.
And then you think about something like The Walking Dead.
God, yeah.
And you think about the scene where Negan batters Glenn's head in with Lucille, right?
Yeah.
And you're telling me that 40k is worse than that?
Yeah, but 40. Oh my God, tired. Walking Dead has an age, like a advisory age on it.
Yeah, it does have an age advisory on it, and so does 40k.
You can be like, oh my God, my 10-year-old's watching Walking Dead. Yeah, because it's not meant for 10-year-olds. So.
But what I'm saying is, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've not read the right 40k narrative and lore. I think there is more graphic stuff that is already mainstream and more shocking stuff that is already mainstream than it exists anywhere in the 40k universe. And therefore, I have no concern about anybody getting hold of it and toning it down.
My worry about 40k, if it isn't already mainstream, my worry for it being mainstream would be the quality control, so they can bosh out models in record time that the quality would go right down. Because if people were to get hold of it and say it's outrageous, it's too much, it's too dark, we really then should be looking at some of the games that are available for children to play, like Hello Neighbour, where the storyline is someone killed his wife, or
who has kids?
And
who has kids whose kids play Hello Neighbour, and do they know what that storyline is? Because it's fucking weird. Consider it's Peggy 7.
And there's a level.
7.
Yeah.
Peggy 7.
There's a level where it's all white, and then you're wandering around looking for the wife because I think the man is tormented by his grief. And I was like, Jesus Christ, how old is this? And then James was like, oh, it's Peggy 7. Right, okay. Well, you're 9 at this conversational point. I don't know how comfortable I am with this.
I just realised, by the way, that with Big Daddy John's donation, we hit 500 members for the month already. You're amazing. We're already on 74 for tonight. We're on track for 200 a night at this rate. You have to keep the rate off, right? Daddy John set you off. You have to keep the rate up. So Hello Neighbour's a weird one, right? I feel like Hello Neighbour is one that sits in this strange bracket of it has a rating that I don't actually think is appropriate personally.
Yeah.
So I feel like the rating for that particular game is wrong. It's Peggy 7, and it's about a pretty chilling story. Although it's not graphical, there's no swearing. It's not graphical, but the content is pretty chilling.
Yeah.
For a 7-year-old to try and comprehend at least.
Yeah.
I feel like they've hit a grey area which I'm not particularly comfortable with. A lot of other games today, a game I was playing today, 18. Grand Theft Auto 18, right? So typically I find that their game ratings are pretty accurate. Now whether a parent allows a child to play an 18 game or not is a different story.
That's
we're not going to dive.
personal.
Of course,
yeah.
we're not going to dive into that.
Yeah.
But they're rated at least. So games have got pretty graphical, but they're rated. TV series and TV shows and movies have got more graphical, but they're rated. Maybe 40k should have a rating. I think there is an age restriction for going into store and starting to hobby.
Liam, in the US all that stuff is behind paywalls, cable TV, or streaming services. Network television is still very much PG rated, PG-13 at most. Amazon would do 40k right though based on how they did The Expanse, The Boys.
All right, so I need to be clear, Manny. I think that all the things we've just spoken about were paywalled here as well on some form of TV service. So our version of what do you call it, network television, are free to watch. The BBC, ITV, etc., isn't too shocking. I think they've touched on some more shocking topics in places with certain series.
The BBC is very heavily regulated.
The BBC is monumentally regulated and often kicks out dog shit TV, unfortunately. ITV less so, but they have advertisers to be concerned about. And advertisers, as I've been learning with YouTube, can be particularly picky. You'll be surprised to know how many of my streams have reduced monetization simply because of the language I choose to use. Apparently, lots and lots of advertisers don't like the word cunt, for example. So when you say it, your monetization goes down. It's 2023.
Maybe it's because you're saying it. You don't have one, so maybe you shouldn't be allowed to say it. Advertisers being precious. I don't want my brand associated to that bad word. Oh, piss off! Like honestly, fucking hell, Jesus Christ. I mean, you know, there is limits. If someone was sat here with a red armband on, constantly doing a high five, I would fully expect an advertiser to be like, I don't want to be on that channel at all. I get that one, but a bit of bad language in 2023, is it really that much of a problem? I don't know. Anyway. I don't get this as well, right? Here's another thing. We're not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay.
And another thing, right? Here's another thing. There's a lot of people that are like, I'm aware I'm Marmite, right? I'm aware I'm Marmite. I get that. I'm aware that people love or hate me, and that's fine. I have no problems with it. Thankfully, we've got 292 people watching right now, and I'd like to think that most of you think we're all right at least. I'm also aware there's a number of people that fucking hate me and think that I'm an arsehole, and I don't care.
Also, you need to apologise to Luce. Love Island is a great show.
Mandy's just booked her place on the ferry. Right, so I'm aware that some people hate me as well. That's fine. I don't fucking care, quite frankly, right? I've never cared about that shit at all. It doesn't bother me. I've never cared really about being hated. One of the reasons why we have Joe is because Joe's jam. I'm calling Joe Jam lately, as well as a national treasure who we should protect at all costs. And what I mean by jam is everyone loves jam. There's very few people that don't love jam, right? People love jam, dogs love jam. Everyone loves jam. Joe's jam. I'm Marmite. That's fine. I'm aware of the fact that some people aren't a fan of my content. I'm like, I don't care. Don't fucking watch me. I don't even know where this was going. How did this start? Mandy interrupted me.
Right, let's circle back. So we were on about the word...
Bad language. Okay, cool. Okay, we're back on it. You're good. Thank you. That's why you're here. Right, so some people have been like... So some people don't watch me because they don't like me. Some people said, oh, I'd like to watch your content, but there's too much language and I'm worried about my 10-year-old. I speak the same way I'm speaking on stream in front of my fucking 10-year-old. And guess what? He doesn't repeat it.
But also, we're not... We purposefully do it at this time because a lot of 10-year-olds might be in bed by now. So we're not. If we were made for 10-year-olds, we'd be on at 9 in the morning, not 9 in the evening.
But I speak this way in front of both of my children, and if they were to ever repeat those words, they're told, no, they're grown-up words. And my 10-year-old is fully aware of what all grown-up words are and doesn't use them. So rather than blaming me for your 10-year-old not watching your content, just fucking parent him. Much easier. Anyway, back into chat, because there's a bunch of people have dropped the less than $10 super chats. You people are heroes. So, Mordy Hammer says, do we want video mainstream or streaming show mainstream or movie franchise? I feel like I want all of the main video stream or streaming show mainstream or movie franchise. So the movie franchise should be mainstream. Do we want main video mainstream or streaming show mainstream? The more people... Okay, so to try and answer your question, Mordy Hammer, the more people that are looking for 40k content, the better it is for me as a streamer. Now, I don't know if I've got that right, but the better it is for me as a streamer. The more people that are searching for that stuff on YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, Disney, etc., the better it is for someone like me. So I'm actually okay with it. Like I said, my personal view is that too many, or many more shows nowadays have become darker, grimmer, more disgusting, and horrible. And I think people love that now. People like that added value shock that they get from their show. People like the fact that it's more grimy, more potentially real even. I don't think people want to watch shows that are all wrapped in daisies and everybody's happy nowadays. I feel like that's a thing now. So, Stephen, thank you for the 5. Lucy spot on that there is a weird dance when you meet another possible 40k player as you try to find out if they are also a nerd. A weird dance. I'm not sure I've done the weird dance.
Discussions like this makes me feel we are dangling around another airport rant video. Feed the beast people. I'm getting popcorn. Poor Lucy's in for it tonight. Ha ha. P.S. Joe is a national treasure.
You know, right.
That we must protect.
I said like a month ago, I'm going to start saying that Joe's a national treasure and you watch it catch on. And I put it first in a Discord post. And it is caught on like fucking wildfire. I'm so happy because Joe is in fact a national treasure. That's just a thing. No airport rant. No airport rant. I'm just saying, like, language isn't a reason for your kids not to watch a stream. Just parent them and tell them that's a bad word. Don't repeat it. Crack on. Awful Gamer TJ, thank you for the 5. Probably mainstream. Almost everyone in my office started asking me questions after the Amazon Coven announcement. That's interesting. You then dropped another 5, and you didn't. Did you put a comment after it? Because you deleted it, which is odd. Did you do that on purpose? I'm gonna look. There was nothing else there. Awful Gamer TJ. If you want to say something else, mate, just drop it below. But thank you so much for the additional 5. You fucking legend. I love you dearly. Hero. Easton, thanks for the 5. I ask again, do you think they would make a film about Demon Kaluba? I don't know what that is. What's Demon Kaluba? I'm assuming that's a 40k reference thing. What is it? Tell me what it is and I'll ask you.
Brian makes a good point. Warhammer was on South Park.
It was! What a great episode that was. Liberty Fires, thank you for the 5. I feel 40k now is where D&D was 7 years ago. Some people have heard of it, some play, but it wasn't popular enough except for a bad movie. And then we had things like The Big Bang Theory.
So I only heard of D&D because of that guy with the guitar who I mentioned a couple of streams ago. It's D&D.
Oh, Jack Black?
No.
Oh, Stephen Lynch?
Yes.
Not Jack Black, Stephen Lynch, that's the one.
Yeah.
What a fucking...
And then I had to Google D&D because I was like, what is this catchy tune that now is in my head? And that was it then. And then there was Big Bang Theory. Yeah.
Liberty also said afterwards, I guess the amount for a super chat to read out went up. It did. We were getting constantly interrupted, which made the content hard for people to watch on demand. And also made my flow difficult when I was watching live, when I was talking live. The amount of times I've been on a little rant thing, not necessarily a rant thing. You're making me sound quite ranty nowadays. Often I'm talking about something, or Luce and I are discussing something, and then I'll get halfway through it and you'll interrupt me with £2, and then I'll start it again, and then you'll interrupt me, and then before you know it, I've been interrupted 4 times and I forgot what I'm talking about. I'm like, Luce, what was I talking about? She's like, I don't know.
It's amazing to be interrupted that often. It's lovely. But it was a bit like, this is now.
No, it is lovely. It's absolutely lovely.
Unwatchable.
But we're trialing a thing where minimum $10, and it is in dollars, Liberty Fire, so it's in your mother tongue. A minimum $10 for sexy Amy to read it out, right? Otherwise, I will get to it at some point, like I am now, as I'm reading Smeg for Brain. Great name. Poll. Do you watch Love Island? I don't want to do that poll because I think I'd be ashamed as to how many of the 290 people watching actually watch Love Island.
I can't watch it. I'm sorry, Mandy. I'm sorry. I know you watch it and you stuck up for me a moment ago. I was a coward and I didn't correct, but I'm going to do it now. I don't watch Love Island because I just can't. I can't watch it. I'm not saying it's shit. I'm just saying I can't watch it.
You have to leave the window open when you watch Love Island.
Why?
So all the brain cells that are leaving your head can just float away.
Well, I wonder if it's actually kind of junk food TV. Like, you get in from work, you've had a really shit day, kids have driven you mad, you've somehow made it through dinner without strangling one of them, and then you go and turn on Love Island. I wonder if it's actually a genius program because it's junk food TV.
Tony Willick says, we're making you sound quite ranty? Yeah. You make me out worse than I am. That's how it works, chat, right? Can't get comfortable tonight. What the hell is Love Island? Never look, John. Never look. You don't need to know. You will be worse off for knowing. Okay. Mordy Hammer says first was supposed to be video game. Okay. So I feel like I said earlier, right? One of the main reasons people have previously said I say one of the main reasons. A reason I've heard quite commonly before that people have discovered the tabletop hobby that is 40k is because of things like Dawn of War as a video game and Space Marine as a video game. Now, I would suggest that to some extent, Dawn of War and Space Marine, being the big video game titles that they were, made it already semi-mainstream. I haven't. Do you know what? I think I'm talking myself into this right now. I reckon 40k's been mainstream for quite a while. It might have been secret mainstream, but it's been mainstream for quite a while.
I think I'm going to be in the camp that doesn't want it to go mainstream.
I think it already is.
Because I think its lovely twinkliness will be ruined.
But I think it is mainstream. And I think much like the secret dance and what you were talking about, I think it's just secret mainstream. When I joined the army, right, After my basic training, I got posted to a place called Watersham, which is up in the fucking arse end of nowhere in the UK, in East Anglia, right? And Luce will tell you, the barracks was literally in the middle of nowhere.
I loved it.
Because it was an airfield, right? Literally in the middle of nowhere. So, considering where I'm from right now, or where my barracks was, it was a 3.5-hour drive. So I wasn't coming home frequently, nor was I going to be coming home frequently at weekends for 3.5 hours. I would stay up in Ipswich, and I stayed on barracks in my room, and we had a blocks full of multiple rooms. I assume most military is the same across the globe, but blocks of multiple rooms. And I'm a sociable person. I'm a extroverted person. We talked about this a little bit on Wednesday. So I would want to be sat in my room on my own, or like, there's nothing worse than nothing but a fucking laptop and a bottle of lube, right? I didn't want that. I wanted to be around people. I like being around people. So I used to I had an open door policy, right? My door was always open, and if anybody ever wanted to come and chat to me or say hello or have a cup of tea, my door was open. I had a kettle. I almost always had some form of biscuit, and I almost always had tea and coffee and enough cups to have 2 or 3 people come and have a brew if they wanted to and chat. And so if people were walking down the block at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, bored out their fucking minds because all their friends have gone home, and they walk past my door, they could sit there and be like, "Hello, Liam." I'm like, "Cup of tea? Put a kettle on," right? Because I'm a sociable person. But it was also my room on camp and the place that I lived. So I would sit there, and on my desk was my hobby, whatever I was building or painting at the time. And the amount of people, the unbelievable amount of people that would walk in and either start with some kind of shitty jibe to try and be the big tough man, because we're all in the army, or wouldn't do that, but would go, "I used to have orcs."
So they knew the name.
"Oh, did you? Okay." Like, the amount of people that come in and are like, "Oh, you fucking geek. Is that a Space Marine?" Like, "Oh!" 5?
Oh my God, I was 16.
Like 18 years ago. 18 years ago.
Oh,
2005.
to be 16 again.
No, 2005 I joined the army. I'm lying to you. That's 2008. You're 18. But still, a number of years ago, like 15 plus years ago, and people already knew what it was. I think it's been mainstream for a while, people. And this is why I'm not concerned. And I don't think it's going to become mainstream. I think it could become bigger, but I think it's already mainstream.
Maybe we do like the Fight Club rules.
I mean, that's been a thing for 40k forever.
Then let's just
don't talk about Fight Club.
not change
I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I can't talk about Fight Club, you ruin my business.
We can talk about Fight Club.
It's just me sat here for an hour and a half silent.
That I think that could work. We might all enjoy that.
That would be it for like 90 minutes.
I think we're up for that.
Please donate. That's it.
Just like every 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Please donate.
I'll just turn the bot off because I'll just do it myself at that point. I've nothing else to talk about. Please super chat. Or my kids don't eat. That's the one, isn't it? That you like?
Is that one still on here?
Yeah, that was definitely still on there. I think the British thing helps with it being more common in your area. I mean, I do wonder that as well. Like, I'm obviously conscious that we're in a touch of an echo chamber kind of thing. Like, we have potentially a smaller...
Love Island and reality TV is like watching an elderly person tripping over and falling face first in dog poop. Absolutely horrifying, but you cannot take your eyes off of what is happening.
Do you know, the last time I watched some shocking reality TV was that Big Brother season where someone put a wine bottle where the sun don't shine.
Oh, what season was that?
Oh, how old? I was in school because I was doing GCSEs. And you know when you get like
what season was that?
I honestly couldn't tell you. But you know when you get like half a day off because you've done 2 exams and you need to go home?
No, I didn't get that. I did 2 exams and have to roll into another exam. You know how many exams I did.
Oh, yeah.
Guna, thank you for the 5, you absolute legend, putting us on a monumental 79 new members tonight. Can we at least hit 100 in the next 45 minutes? 45 minutes at 80, which means logically in another 45 minutes we should do another 80, right? Makes sense. Gafunkable, do you guys 3D print? I could make a model of you. I've done work for Valrak and Gamza Discord. I don't 3D print, but I know people that have 3D printers. That'd be amazing if you're happy to do it. It depends what you're going to charge me for it now, because, you know, we're all poor. But that sounds incredible. Although you worked for Valrak. Ugh.
Oh, thanks, chat. It was Kinga.
Who?
Kinga.
Oh, that was the person they would
the
call
wine bottle
Kinga the
person.
Minga, right? That's the one?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I ever heard them.
I've
say
definitely
that.
heard that phrase before. I assume it's associated to this individual who sounds like a right
A
laugh.
real stand-up citizen.
She sounds like the pinnacle of British
But-
females on the drink.
When the wine bottle went up, the only thing I was thinking was, you want to hope that doesn't smash while it's in there.
One man, one jar.
I haven't seen that.
You don't want to. You don't want to. But yeah, thank you, Skip Uncle. That's a lovely offer. I appreciate that. King of the Legends says, okay, I might. Sounds awful. I love being called a nerd. Oh, hang on.
Beautiful eyes you got there. PLS continue.
Oh, Dost. You sweetheart. Zeno says, I love being called a nerd because it's deaf, not an insult, but for some reason some people think it is. I think it's less of an insult nowadays. I think it previously was a bit more of an insult. Right? The nerds, when I was at school, the nerds were the people that got bullied all the time.
Yeah.
Typically, right? I think that there has been shows like Big Bang Theory, I think, have gone some way nowadays to normalizing it, and dare I say these words, borderline making nerds the cool kids to a point. You know, I think shows like that have done a lot of work for it, if I'm honest. That and things like, you know,
I employ people who play Tragic the Saddening and D&D. They all know about Warhammer, but they don't want to try the game by playing 2,000 points, sell £500, and then paint it. Paw Patrol has them wetter than an otter's pocket.
Paw Patrol.
The TV show.
Oh, Combat Patrol he's talking about. Right, I'm with you, Steve. I was lost then for a minute. And Tragic the Saddening is Magic the Gathering, I guess, right? Surely Magic the Gathering is a higher cost at 500 quid if you play it properly. Right? 40k
How
Medic,
many-
we are the cool kids. We are the cool kids.
How many cards is in a deck for Magic? Like,
I
just
think if you
keep-
play like Commander, which I have, I think it's like 100 cards.
As a noob to this, still I feel like this edition so far seems less daunting because 9th was hard to take in with limited time. Also, I think it was well known, but back in the day it seemed like it had a stigma against it. Congrats on everything.
Thanks, Jez. You're a legend. Ian was an individual who I was in the army with.
I thought that name rang a bell.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. You're a hero. What
Do
a
you have a
massive...
nickname?
Huh?
Do you have a nickname?
Yeah, shitters.
Oh! I know him. Oh my god.
Shitters, you're a legend. Thank you so much for the big dono, man. What a hero. What a legend. Commander is 100, standard is 60. There you go. So standard is 60 cards, but they can go up to 100 cards for Magic. Magic's something I've always wanted to play. I played it once in California with the guys at Titans.
Yeah.
Came home, bought a deck, done nothing with it. It's on the. It's over here somewhere. I have a fancy Magic deck. So hang on. Now this is premium content.
Right, yeah. Do you want the elevator music?
Yeah.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
It's not that one. That's the empty box.
Do 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 do.
Go well. Oh here.
Do 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 do. Oh, it's in the fancy box.
A Magic deck. One deck.
Do you play all of them in one game?
In Commander. 100 cards.
You'd play all of them in one
In
game?
Commander, you play with 100
What?
cards.
How long's a game then?
How long's a piece of string? It depends on who you're playing with, how many players, etc. It's hard to say.
Is this another D&D trap that...
I mean, I don't
I
think it's
might
as bad
be
as
home
like
for
chat
dinner.
might correct me, but I don't think it's as bad as D&D.
I might be home to see our youngest 16th birthday. Depends on how long the campaign
No
is.
one cares about that. No one cares about that. No one cares about his 16th birthday.
Don't count me in for Christmas dinner. I
18th
definitely won't be
birthday.
back for that.
18th birthday when he can buy me a pint. We need to be done by then. All right. Facts, Magic the Gathering can get very costly, especially if you're a Commander player. Well, there you go. See, that's what I'm saying. I feel like Magic's more expensive. So, Steve, I get the painting burden from your chat, by the way. I get the painting burden, but £500 barrier to entry for 2,000 points, I don't feel like is a real justifiable argument from Magic players who buy cards at ridiculous prices.
Nerds have become the cool kids. When I try to talk about sports, someone in my circle will say, "Oh, you mean sports ball," as a snide remark. Nerds are slowly becoming a little bit of a bully.
Nerds the bullies. Who thought they'd see the day? It was a good super chat, at least, but it wasn't worth a clap. What is it? Is it Mosquito?
Yeah.
Is it Mexican Mosquito? Mosquito! It is Cinco de Mayo. So it could be a Mexican Mosquito. We've lost her now. She's just looking at the ceiling. She does that a lot when I talk anyway, to be fair.
I don't want welts.
Stream where Liam shows us boxes. Rambo, thank you for the 5. Looking forward to Ipswich smashing Southampton next. I've given up on football, Rambo. Fuck football. It's shit. Football sucks. There you go. I said it. Right. Sports ball sucks. There you go, Liberty Fires. Sports ball sucks. So, Commander games can take 3 to 4 hours. Yeah, so they can take a long time. Commander, like games of Magic can take as long as 40k. Maybe sometimes even a little bit longer, especially if you've got enough players. But I don't feel like it's D&D levels of long, like yearly campaigns. It's not that bad.
So will it always be about 4 hours, even if you have a full table, or?
Oh no! So I think if you played 60 card game, 2 people 1v1, you could probably do it in like half an hour to an hour, like easy, right? But if we played 5 people with commander decks, which are 100 cards. I think we were playing for like 2.5 hours, and it was nice. But the thing is as well, right? It's weird, right? I don't want to turn this into a Magic stream because it's not. But it's weird because with Magic, you're sat at a table, you're chilling out, you've got your drink. It's a little bit more relaxed. So it's like playing poker for 3 hours with your mates, Magic, rather than 40k.
Okay.
You're stood up, and you know what I mean. So I don't feel like it's. I feel like if you play Magic hardcore. It can be quite bad for the thinking man's game. But for a chill game, I don't feel like it's as stressful as 40k or even as tiring, honestly. Maybe I'm wrong. I've played once, right? I've played once. Also, I want to know who your commander is. I think he's a Silent King. I bought the Necron deck. I just bought 40k Magic. It's me, right?
Luce, my dad left for a game of Magic 18 years ago. Haven't seen him since. So I guess these games take a very long time.
That shouldn't be funny, but it is. My commander's the Silent Kinglet. See, all in little wallets.
Have you put each one in a wallet?
Yep.
Why?
So it looks after them.
But
Luce,
it's not like
right?
You're a toddler that's got sticky fingers.
Things don't look after themselves. If you're playing with Magic cards and you're going to someone's house or venue and putting your cards down on their table,
well, they didn't need a wallet anyway because you don't play with them.
I mean, I intended to. The intent was there, all right?
Shall we ask how much that deck was? Or,
I don't remember.
Or are we having a good day today, so let's not ruin it?
60 quid or something,
Ugh.
I think. I'm not sure. I want to play more. When Super Secret Project opens, maybe I can. All right? Maybe I can. Because he's a nerd, says Carl. Yeah, absolutely. JGC, thank you for the 5. It doesn't matter how long the Project the Saddling game takes. It's all lost time. You can't get that time back to paint your super cool models. Exactly. I kind of agree with you. Playing Commander, you'll tend to chat as well. Yeah, it's chill, right? It's easy. Poker game when? That's channel content. All of us sat around the table with sunglasses on. Playing poker.
What?
Poker players wear sunglasses, don't they?
Oh, is that because it helps your tell?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Apparently. I don't know if I have a tell. I've worked out the best way to win poker. I've worked out the best way to bluff at poker as well.
Not to use real money?
Have no idea what you're fucking doing. If you have no idea what you're doing, you can't bluff, can you?
No, that's called beginner's luck. When you have no idea what's going on. Do you remember that one time Brom taught us Canadian whist?
I don't think he knew what it was either.
Oh my god! I think I fell asleep on your shoulder holding a hand of cards.
Women. That's happened with a lot of women when Brom talks to them. To be fair. Yeah, that's how he got his missus. She fell asleep and then he put a ring on her finger and woke up and said, "Oh, we got married at Vegas." That's how it happened. That's now canon, by the way, people. That's now the law. That's what happened. I think I got to add 5 more to this. I do have to add 5 more to my May members to get us to 506. Get to 1,000 in a night, chat? Yeah? No, I'm joking. There we go. Right, cool.
I like Puppers. He's put loose hobby, growing some veg, Liam hobby, throwing money out the window. That's the right way.
I mean, to be fair, my 40k hobby isn't throwing money out the window because it's literally the channel, which is now literally the only income I have. Zena says, "Ugh, I hate your artifact deck." I don't know what that means. Super secret project update when? There's a super secret project update going to Haskell's next week. I said her skulls get behind the scenes content. I haven't been given the behind the scenes content. I need to keep them her skull tier. So any her skulls next week will get an update on Super Secret Projects. Okay. Although there was a update to the general public on YouTube about a little part of it last week on, I think, Monday. That's on the YouTube community page if you want to go check it out. Right. Protect the cards loose. Some can sell for a lot of money. I mean, I don't think these can. I don't know anything about Magic. I really want to get into Magic more, but one, I don't have the time. Two, I can't bother to learn it. And three, I just love 40k too much. I actually treated myself today for a change, and I had instant guilt because it's not for the channel.
What was the thing you treated yourself with? Oh,
that thing.
Okay.
Yeah, instant guilt as well. So. This is okay because this could still be usable in content in the future. Somehow.
Is that the only deck you're going to buy?
Oh, if I start playing Magic, then no. At the moment, fucking right. I bought it after I played a game and I've never used it.
I really want to be on board with your honesty because I know you're not lying to me, but I can't help but just feel a small simmering of... But you haven't played with the first deck.
No, exactly. So I wouldn't buy another deck if I hadn't played with this one. I've never played with this one yet. I need to play with this one at least once first.
Just once?
Well, then you know where your gaps are, right? And you have to fill the gaps. I think that's a Magic thing. I don't know. Is that magic? I don't know.
Can anyone else hear him digging yet? Is it just me that can hear that?
Ozzy says, Lucy, you're old and wise enough. That seems like a brave start to a sentence. Sure you to know, always use protection when playing with others, especially in groups. Exactly. The window is just throwing money back at you. The window is my screen, and it does typically throw money back at me, and I'm very grateful to all of you for doing that. Thank you so much. My wife refreshes and sells antique lamps for a hobby. I collect cardboard and plastic. She knew I was useless when she married me, though.
Oh, does she do Tiffany lamps?
What do you mean?
I would love to get my hands on a proper Tiffany lamp.
What's a Tiffany lamp?
You wouldn't understand.
The fuck's a Tiffany lamp?
Google it.
Oh, Red Kari, right? No, sorry, Red Archive. Have I said that right? Red Archive. Most expensive Magic the Gathering card was $615,000.
What?
Gold in this here box, over here, loose.
What's? I bet you it's fucking.
There's gold in this here, Hills.
I bet that's practically the Pokemon
equivalent
to a deck full of Pikachus.
Isn't like first edition cards or whatever worth more and all that kind of shit? Is that not a thing? Right? You nailed it. Got to fill the gaps. Exactly. See, Johnny's on my side. Carl says they're just cards. Print your own. You can say that about your hobby, mate. You can still buy GW plastic. Magic can end up being a lot more expensive than 40 cases, Peter. What? Exactly. Lamp stream. Let's go. John Burkett, thank you so much for becoming a Haskell, you fucking hero. What a legend. Thank you. You'll get the update next week sometime when someone reminds me to do an update, which I need to do at some point about Super Secret Project. Does everyone here know what Super Secret Project is?
Super secret.
No, but I can tell them what the project is. Right?
But it's super secret.
Black Lotus from first edition. See, now you're talking a foreign language to me. Most expensive Pokemon card, I think, was $5,275, but Puppers has written it as $5.275. Liam, the lamp sounds expensive. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, 5.275 million.
What?
That's a lie, Puppers, surely.
Was that?
Liam's next deck will be body-sized, with a lid on it with him in it. Poor Luce is simmering in the corner.
I don't think she's simmering. She's looks up.
Was that Pokemon card something to do with like Mewtwo or something?
Is that a thing? Is that legit, Puppers? Is that actually a thing?
I've heard an awful lot about. I could probably say I've heard too much about.
Alpha and Beta editions have some of the most expensive cards in Magic the Gathering. Okay, so if any of you at home have got Alpha and Beta editions you want to send to me, right? PO Box 431 SO400HT. I'm just saying, a Charizard sold for over $400,000 at an auction.
Why?
No way.
It's a chart. Did somebody sign it or?
I'd forgot Super Secret Project was a thing. It's taken a long time, was it? Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, that's mad. That's
Charizard.
mad.
So it's Charmeleon. No, Charman. No, hang on. What's
Charmander's
first?
the first one, then Charmeleon, then Charizard.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the evolutionary tree of the fire one.
Yeah.
Although, James plays Pokemon games, our eldest, and if it's not the original 150, I'm not interested.
You gotta do the rap.
I don't know the rap. Although I was talking to Brian from Titans We were trying to come up with a way we could do like every Primarch's Poke Rap. I think that'd be cool. If that project is super secret, I must have joined the MI6. Kianon, sorry, I'm keeping my alpha beta cards. It's like you don't even care, Kianon. It's like you don't even care about us. That 5 million Pokemon card was the Jake Paul one, wasn't it? Is that legit? Isn't he a bit of a knob? Is he a knob? I don't know. I've heard that name before, and I've often heard him referenced as a knob. But I think he's a YouTuber. I think all YouTubers are knobs. Facts, right? It's a Pikachu card. Liam knows his Pokemon, nerd. Look, Seeps, right? I, much like Xena, have never found being called a nerd an offensive term because I have been a nerd forever. When I was at school, and I think I started back in 2000, I started collecting Pokemon cards. In 2000.
No, you can't have started in 2000 because I started in 2000.
No, I didn't start school in 2000. I started school in 1998.
Oh, okay.
I started my secondary school in 1998. How many people now are sat there feeling fucking old? That's right. I finished secondary school in 2003. I was actually at secondary school when the millennium came in.
I got a special coin.
Did you?
Yeah, and
which
like
makes you fucking rich in Coventry.
And like I want to say it's like a square size in between A4 and A5, but it was this commemorative millennium coin thing. And we all got one. None of us knew what to do with it. I think half of us left it at the park.
Yeah, he is. A bit of a knob. He is a very big knob. Okay, so I was right with that one. I don't really know him. I don't know who he is. Never really heard of him. I mean, I've heard his name. I don't know who he is or what he does. I just knew. I think he was about. He was about in the YouTube space for some time, I think, and I've heard that he's a bit of a bellend, right? I'd fight him. Anyway, Ferris Reg, I'm a decorator. If you teach me to play 40k, I'll come paint and decorate your super secret project. I mean, I'm not against that idea. Are you local to Southampton? Because we're about to start quoting everything for super secret project within the next few weeks, right?
Do you want to talk about super secret projects?
Well, no one's asked, so it's fine, right? I was born in 1998, you old sod. Jesus, I was born in 1986. So I'm medium. I'm not old, I'm medium. Sheep Avenger was 1989. Luce was born in 1978.
I was not born in 1978.
Zena was 89. I dropped and got GED and went to work 1999. Okay, 04? Carl, you weren't born in 04. Or did you go to school in 04? I started playing D&D when I was 11 in 1981. Fucking hell, Scroto. Jesus Christ. Let us know when your carer comes and tucks you in. Finished secondary school in 2003. My birthday's the end of this month, so old. My birthday's December. I'm a Christmas Eve baby. Practically Jesus, hence the beard. 1998 was on my VM upgrader class 1 course. You make me feel so old, says Tim. I did my upgraders in 2010 I did my upgraders. Yeah, I think I did my upgrader course in 2010, Tim. So I did my upgrader course 12 years after you at Arborfield. I assume yours was Borden, right? Who from Titans? Never heard of that guy. Brian! You never heard of Brian? Brian's like one of the OGs, John. Puh. Call yourself a fan, honestly. 87, 67, 88, 1993, 1970, 1970. See, this is what I mean. We've got a lovely, diverse group of people. So, someone said to me at Fest, I'm looking for such and such. I was like, cool, what does he look like? Slightly fat guy with glasses and long hair, like, and a beard. I was like, you're at Warhammer Fest. That's like 98% of the people here. You need to be more specific. Is the secret project the delivery of a promised reach around from Joe? No, that's not secret, though, is it? Titans is Brian's channel. Not strictly true, I think you'll find, Carl. Although he is one of the OGs. He's one of the originators. He's amazing as well. Born in 79, started playing GW games early 90s. What was it like during the Necrontyr dynasty? Well, fuck you, man. 79. There's a lot of people here older than me, right? I was 86. What happened to Brian from Titans? Legit don't know. He moved away with his family for business reasons to the Bahamas. And I think he's still involved in the running of Titans, but he just obviously, being in the Bahamas, he doesn't get to come and play often. However, people, currently as it stands, I'm flying to California. Don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but I'm going to see Titans in America again. And I'm flying out on the 9th of June. And there's talk that Brian also might be flying back in on the 9th of June. I'm just saying. Who knows? He started it, didn't he? First Fizz was just high. Yeah, he definitely started it. Come now, Brian funded the channel. He pays the bills. It's Brian's channel. Okay, cool. It's Brian's channel. Fuck Adrian and Bridges. Brian's channel. I mean, they don't do anything, right?
Born in 69 and started gaming in 81. Started 40k 2 years ago. You kids need to stop saying you are old. And get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. Thank you so much, Neil, for the 10. You're a hero. Fucking 1969. My dad was born in 1960.
Oh my God. William Wills. We had a work experience student apply the other day. Date of birth 2010.
No. Of course, because he'll be 30. Oh my God.
That's not computing. Like,
But then to be
the
fair,
90s was only 5 years ago.
our eldest was born in 2013.
I know. Every time I need to give his date of birth for whether it's like a hospital visit or something, I pause for a second because I still feel like that number's not right. When you say 2013, it's like...
Yeah, because we were
right?
married 2011.
Yeah.
He was born 2013. And the youngest was born after that. 17?
It just doesn't... It
17,
doesn't
he was
feel...
born, yeah.
It doesn't feel like that's the right number.
It's mad.
Yeah.
Life has gone too fast already.
Yeah, I don't like it.
And this is one of the reasons why, you know, with what happened not too long ago with DZ, etc., one of the reasons why I fight so hard to keep doing this job and keep doing this, talking to people as a job, is because life's too fucking short. Like, we're joking and talking about birthdays and people being old and people being young, and you're a granddad. But to be honest with you, I'm 36, right? And I feel like even the 36 years I've had, I've gone like that. Honestly, I feel like time... Isn't time a strange fucking thing?
I feel like since I've been married, the time's gone quickly. My teenage years were lovely, but jam-packed.
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or...
No, it's a compliment. It's a compliment. But your teenage years, I feel like they're so jam-packed because if you're like in your early teens, you're at school, there may be an after-school club or playing with your mates on the street. The second you can drink legally, you're out all the time.
Don't you think, though, that life is a funny thing? Because it goes like that, and yet you spend so much time worrying about bills and rent and gas and car and electric, and you spend so much time working and worrying about those things that, considering life and time... We're going to get borderline philosophical here. This is what the mead does, right? Considering life and time is very finite, and you don't have a lot of it, and if some people are of various different beliefs, my personal belief system is that once that time's up, it's up and you're done, right? That's just me, and I'm not telling anyone that that's what they should think. That's my personal belief. So when you consider that as a belief system, which is also a common belief system, to be fair as well, you think to yourself, why am I constantly worrying about bills?
It's taken me a long time to just be okay with the fact that every year, take cost of living out of it for now, every year it goes up. It's taken me a long time to just kind of be okay with that and to just think everyone is having to learn to just get on with it.
But this is why, you know, ultimately this is why I left my last job. So I hit a crossroads, chat, right, with my last job. I was working for a big corporation in a very senior management position, being paid very handsomely. But, as Luce will attest, my days were very long and I was tied to my desk. And it wasn't necessarily because I loved my job and I was having the best time ever. It was because it was my job and I was paid very well in the senior management position. And it was a kind of like, I got to a point where I was exhausted. I was knackered. I was wiped. Luce was saying to me, you're starting to look unwell, right? And so I had a choice, basically. I either gave up the channel because I was starting work at 7 in the morning, finishing work at 7, 8 o'clock at night, despite the fact it was supposed to be a 9 to 5 job, eating dinner, then going on stream. So something had to give, okay? So I either gave up the channel because that meant I had my evenings back and I could chill out and relax, or I gave up the job and I focused on the channel. I think, if we're honest, I reckon it's probably safe to say that, 80% plus of people would have given up the YouTube job, I reckon. What do you think?
Well, I guess because
the security of the big corporation. I get, like, I'm not criticizing.
When you have children, you have obligations now. So I get the sure thing versus the uncertain thing.
Yeah. So I would 100% not criticize a single person out of those 80% plus who would take that. Like, I wouldn't criticize any of them for the security for their family. And it's one of the things that is a new daily worry for me, is that security. That's a daily worry that's existed since I left. It's a daily worry I've now had for 16 months, and thankfully I'm kind of used to managing it and coping with it, which has been a challenge in itself, right? But I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that dad and that husband and work in that corporate job personally. And I was like, YouTube is it's hard work. This is very difficult at times. It's stressful for multiple different reasons. Part of that is because of the lack of security. Part of that is because you literally live month on month. Like, I knew with my previous job at Rolls-Royce, I got paid X every month, no matter what. I knew that, right? That was something I'm like, when you know you're getting paid that every month, you can make plans. You can plan your car finance, your rent, whatever. It's really easy to plan all that stuff because you know what you're getting paid. When you do this job, and then when the month resets and we hit the 1st of May, I have this weird 4-weekly like kind of cycle. The first 2 weeks of the month are horrendously stressful for me because I'm like, I don't know how much money we're going to make this month. Will we be able to cover all the bills? Normally, after 2 weeks, I get a good idea of, okay, we're going to be okay. It's fine, we can relax. And thankfully, it's kind of been that way, right? Thankfully. So, but still, like, we're 5th of May, right? We're now in that position where, like, fuck, are we going to be okay? Are we going to be able to pay all the bills this month? And I go through this really weird, and I've got my own little coping strategies and the way that I sort of look after myself now. So, you know, I'm not, this isn't me moaning about it, but I was like, life's too fucking short to be sat behind a desk working corporate job. For me personally, I was like, I'm doing this and I'm having fun. I wonder if I can do this for a living and keep having that fun. And I think that despite having those monthly stresses, despite going through that cycle, I feel like home me is much more cheerful, happy, relaxed now. Now, Lucy's going to probably shake her head at me now and go, no, you're a miserable fucker. But I feel like I'm certainly more, like, I spend more time, it's not perhaps as much as I'd like, but I spend more time now roughhousing with the kids in the living room and mucking about with them than I did before. Thanks for the support, babe. Wow.
You mucked about with them before, but they were smaller before, so they couldn't really play fight back.
No, granted.
Whereas now you get the shit kicked out of you now, babe.
It's fun though, isn't it?
Fun for me.
But yeah, like time is really finite. Life is really short. We're all, like I said, we're all talking about the years we were born and stuff like that. But this is the thing, when people, like, there's a little part of me, like, if I try and link this back to the topic as well, people go, I don't want it to be mainstream. I don't want it to be common. Like, I feel like there is legitimate gatekeeping that exists in certain areas of the world, and I think there's gatekeeping that doesn't need to exist. Like, I think for me personally, one of my beliefs is that life's too fucking short. I'd love to share everything with everyone because life's too short. We don't get enough time on this world as it is. And so if I get to share my hobby with more people and I get to share my experiences with more people, for me, that's a positive and I'm happy about that. So I believe it's always been mainstream. I believe it's been secret mainstream. But if it isn't and it becomes that way, I'm kind of happy about it because I want to share those experiences and those moments with people more.
Okay, you've convinced me. Take my money.
That wasn't the point before he came in, but thank you for the 10.
Do you know what? I think I don't consider 40k to be mainstream because I don't see it or hear about it being advertised. I wonder if that's where my association is.
Is it because Games Workshop as a company are very guarded? Like, you don't ever see it as a. But then you don't see Magic. Like, Magic's owned by Magic's owned by is it Asmodee? Hasbro?
No. Actually, what board games are advertised?
Exactly, like Monopoly.
So maybe like the whole board game thing is actually mainstream, not mainstream.
Which is interesting as well because when I look at when I made the business plan for Super Secret Project and I looked at statistical fucking hell words are harder when you've drunk much mead. When I looked at statistical fucking hell, say that word for me.
Statistical.
Thank you. Analysis of tabletop gaming and board gaming. Right, when I looked at that, like it's like that kind of curve. Like, I figured, I honestly believed, I was like, okay, because Hasbro, thank you. Because I was also looking at the data for Super Secret Project, like, is this something that's worth it as an investment? Is this worth it? because we're going to be asking people to invest. So is this going to be worth it for people, or are we pissing into the wind? Let's look at some data. So I did some research, and there was a little part of me that didn't want to do the research, and I'll explain why. Because there was a little part of me that was very nervous if I looked at the research about board games, tabletop games, hobbies, that sort of thing. But what we would actually see is a bit of a decline or a steady kind of wave or whatever, because of the emergence of things like games consoles, video games, Netflix, streaming services, apps, phones, etc., etc. I kind of figured there's a possibility that people now will play games and they'll stream and they'll all that kind of stuff. So why would they get out a board game? Why would they play Monopoly anymore? Why would they play 40k? Yeah. Now, I was feeling like, with my experiences, it was becoming more popular. But again, I'm always aware of this. I say this loads on the channel. I'm aware of the fact that I exist in an echo chamber. When you make a 40k channel and everybody that talks to you, hundreds of people that watch you live, they all play 40k, you're like, everyone plays 40k. Of course they do. It's your audience. So of course everyone that you talk to plays 40k. So I expected to see maybe this kind of thing. And what I found was, doing my research, is it actually did that, the curve. Like, it climbed. And I was like, that's interesting. And I have a theory about this, which I spoke a little bit about on Wednesday, or maybe yesterday with the Liam and Joe show. But I have a theory about this, right? Playing video games is great. I love playing video games. I am a 36-year-old fucking man-child geek. I love playing video games. I love everything nerdy, okay? And I enjoy it. Streaming services are great. I've watched Vikings. I've watched Game of Thrones. I've watched all these things on streaming services. They're also great, right? Okay? So, all these things are brilliant. What do they all lack? Physical interaction. Now, I personally believe that on the whole, this isn't true for everybody, but I believe that on the whole, physical human interaction is a fundamental requirement to remain sane. Okay, we're typically a gregarious species, and yes, we have introverts and extroverts, etc., but we are a gregarious species, and I think that human interaction is genuinely required to maintain sanity. And when you're playing video games, you can talk to other people, but you don't have that physical interaction. You don't get to read facial expressions. You know, there's so many things you lose, even just by being over a Discord voice call. And Discord voice calls are amazing, and things like that were monumentally game-changing during something like COVID. And having things like FaceTime were amazing. But if you had a choice right now, right? Let's say you could drop everything you're doing.
I've done a lot in the last 5 years to stop climbing the corporate ladder and just enjoy what I want to do. I'm more than comfortable, so how can I help others doing what they want to do?
That's an incredible attitude, Liberty Fires, as well. I do the same thing. I often do a lot. So people on the channel are very generous with super chats and memberships and gifted memberships. I'm incredibly grateful. Angriest Ron has just become a member at Jarl tier. You're a hero. I love you. I got John at his upgrade to Haskell. So you people are incredible, like amazing. And I feel like we often get a disproportionate number of gifted memberships. So I'll often go and find other channels like War Hipster or SN or even Titans, and I'll go and gift on their channels as well because I like paying the favour forward. Like, okay, if I get to the end of the month and I'm looking at the YouTube numbers, I'm like, okay, it's okay this month, we're comfortable. I'm more comfortable than going and dropping 5 at SN or dropping 5 at War Hipster or dropping 5 at Hellstorm or whatever, because I'm like, people have done it for me, I'm paying that forward. So how can I help others doing what they want to do is an incredible attitude, and I genuinely take my hat off to you for it. And obviously, like I said, met you on Saturday, you're a lovely guy as well, so you've got the whole package there, man. What a legend. But yeah, so what was I saying? You should see this sort of thing about her throwing me off.
Right, we'll circle back round.
What was I saying?
Social interaction.
Social interaction, thank you. See, this is what I told you. So that social interaction is so incredibly important for people. Like Fest, like I said, the actual organised event, shit show on the whole. But my experience, incredible. Why? Because I got to hang out with other people and talk to people and, you know, shake hands and stuff like that. Amazing. GTs, I happily go to GTs as a head TO and don't play a single game for a whole weekend. Why? Because I get to talk to other people. I get to hang out with people. And I theorise that things like board game cafes, gaming centres, things like tabletop war games like Warhammer are going to become more popular whether they have a TV series or not, simply because you get that physical interaction of hanging out with people.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that is one of the things that makes something like 40k, even Magic, so successful, because we could just do it online on Tabletop Simulator, and we choose not to. We choose to go to the Factorum, we choose to go to Element Games, we choose to go to Warhammer World, and we choose to go and see people. Right? Honestly.
My daughter was rushed into hospital today with a possibly life-threatening condition. Thank God we got an all clear. My job, I concluded while I brushed away my tears, is to provide and protect. How I do that is not the important part.
Kai, I'm glad you got the all clear. That must have been absolutely terrifying. I'm sure we can get lots of hearts and hugs in chat for you. Again, I would have hoped you wouldn't have super chat 50 quid if you hadn't got the all clear, so that's incredible. You're right. Like, I agree with what you're saying, right? My job, I concluded while I brushed away my tears, is to provide and protect. 100%. I've said this to Lise, right? If the channel went tits up tomorrow, for whatever reason, if we had 2 weeks of £10 super chats and one gifted membership, and I went, fuck, we're going to not be able to pay the bills, I couldn't give a shit if I was emptying the trash for a living to pay the bills to look after the kids. I don't care. There is no job below me. And I mean that, right? There is no job below me at all. I would do any job to make sure there's a roof over the head for the family. So I get it. I agree with you. But if you can have fun whilst you're doing it as well, that, I think, is the golden ticket. And now, I could have made more money with Rolls-Royce, but I wouldn't be having as much fun as I'm having now. I wouldn't probably be able to spend as much time with Luce as I'm able to spend now. And so that's more important to me in the long run.
The irony I found when you were climbing the management ladder, and we were all really proud of you, was that, well, now, then we did start to have disposable income to go and do things, but actually, who can sit in your chair for you to go away and do those things? Because all of your peer group in your organisation that can do your job also have their own job to do. So it's that whole, I can take annual leave because I'm entitled to it and I need to use it, but the shit show I'm going to come back to isn't worth it. The email inbox isn't worth it.
Well, do you remember we spent a day at a aquarium park place, and I was on the phone for work. It was a day off, booked a day off, but shit went wrong.
Yeah.
And when you're in a senior management position and shit goes wrong, there is no such thing as a day off. You know, and at that point, the kids were playing in water parks. Look at me, Daddy, and I'm there on the phone. That was one of those moments, actually, where I'm like, what am I doing?
But it was the irony of people like, oh, wow, look at you. You're in Rolls Royce, and how old are you? That's amazing. And I'm just down the sidelines like, yeah, but the irony is he now really can't take a holiday because there's nobody to fill in for him. Yeah,
there was a number of occasions where, like, there was another one. I remember another one quite vividly where you went off to a theme park with the boys and you came back with photos and experiences and they were buzzing. I'm like, cool, I've been sat at my desk all day on meetings. But you're right. I like what Kai says is right. Like, you know, how you earn your money. I genuinely mean this. How you earn your money is not the most important thing in the world. It's what the net result of that is, what the end goal is. If the end goal is to make sure your family's comfortable and your family's safe, is the most important ultimately, right? But I would say, and I mean this, and I think, like, from having conversations in the past, I think Kai enjoys his work. So this isn't like I'm picking on him. But if you can do something and you earn 150% of what you need, but you're a bit miserable, or you could do something and you earn 110% of what you need, but you're extremely happy, do option 2. Because life's too fucking short. Do option 2. That's what I would advise anybody, because we're financially much worse off than we were before. It's got worse in the last 6 to 8 weeks, but I'm still happy. And the family's happy, and that's the most important. Big Bad Peter Gaming, thank you for the gifted membership, putting us 509. You're a hero, and I love you. Thank you so much, man. I get lazier the longer I go on and drink, and then I start banging into the microphone like this. It must be an audio delight for the people at home, if I'm honest. But yeah, thank you so much. I just sold one magic card for $1,600. What annoys me is he didn't super chat that for $1,500.
I don't understand how these cards are so expensive.
I like how Joe Rogan says it, though it's from the philosopher Henry David Thoreau. Most men lead lives of quiet desperation.
I work in tech. I spend my work life looking at computer screens. I love 40k for the hobby time as dedicated time away from screens, whether building, painting or playing.
I mean, you can sit there, right? One of the beauties with 40k is you can turn your computer off if you wanted to. Most people watch YouTube or something, but you could turn it off. You could have nothing on, and you could just have your lamp on and sit there and do it in the quiet. Or you could be sat around a table of 5 people all hobbying together. And I love that range for 40k that you have.
So James was asking me this today. He was like, tell me something that makes you happy. And I said, oh, having a really full, busy day, putting you two in bed, and then coming back down in my dressing gown and just watching some really naff TV with a cup of tea. And he looked at me like, you don't want to go outside? And I said, well, that depends on what time of day that I want to feel happy and who I want to feel happy with. Because there are some days where I'm like, no fuckers coming in here because I don't want to be around anyone. Everyone leave me alone, go away. And then there are some days where I want to go outside and I want to be around people.
Yeah.
So even,
and that's okay.
Even he was like, so you have more than one hobby? And I was like, I wouldn't.
But that's
a hobby.
This is my point though. You can tick all of that spectrum off with 40k. You can.
I couldn't with 40k. It's so heavy.
But what I'm saying, no, specifically you couldn't.
Yeah.
Okay, that's individual to you. However, you could sit here.
It's a fine balancing act, and working abroad for so long you realise the little things you miss hurt the most. My goal is to use my income to pay off my future so I can enjoy time more.
Oh, mate. So I've said this before, right? There is no way I could ever retire early. I'll talk about the spectrum actually quickly before I go back to this. So what I'm saying is, although you couldn't lose, on the whole, an individual who likes Warhammer 40k could either go from being on their own in the quiet with nothing but their lamp,
Yep.
to being in a room full of 100 people playing a tournament and everything in between, right? Whether that's one mate round hobbying, 5 mates round hobbying, a weekend away with 10 mates having a gaming weekend at Warhammer World, a tournament of 30 people, tournament of 50. That whole spectrum is available to you in Warhammer 40k. And that's one of the reasons why I love the hobby of the most. Because if you're sat there thinking, I cannot be bothered with anyone today, I can shut the world out and I can sit there with a paintbrush or a scalpel and I can just do my hobby, okay? Or I want to go and see some people. You can go to your local gaming store or your local games workshop or Warhammer World or do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's why I think it's so amazing, because you have that wide spectrum. Right, shit, it's back to you. Thank you again for the 10. Stop it. You've already given enough. No more. Pay off your future. I had the chat with Luce recently, and I had this chat about other things. Like I'm one of these sad fuckers who's got a lottery ticket for tomorrow night, right? Because there's a £20 million jackpot here in the UK. I could do a £20 million, if I'm honest with you. I'd have super secret project open in fucking 4 weeks if I had £20 million. And people are like,
really?
People are like, what do you mean you'd have it open? You've got 20 million quid. I was like, I wouldn't stop working because I like working. But I'm in a lucky position that I wouldn't stop doing that. If I won £20 million tomorrow, I'd be back on fucking stream Sunday night like I said I would. Because I like streaming. I have fun streaming. I enjoy it. So my job isn't necessarily work to me, thankfully. Although sometimes it is, because I don't get sick pay, etc. Because I really, really enjoy myself. I want to not necessarily pay off my future so I don't have to ever... No, that's a lie. I'd like to be in a place where I never have to work again. There's a very distinct difference, I think, between having to work and wanting to work. And I think often that is directly related to how much you enjoy what you do. Okay, so if I won £20 million tomorrow, it is probably highly likely that I would never have to work again. Like, we don't own the house. I have to rent. I cannot save enough money for a house deposit. It's impossible. I've tried. I can't do it. It's too hard. I'd like to. I'd love to. I'd love to own the house. Maybe our boiler would have been fixed 6 months ago when it broke.
Oh my fucking God, the boiler.
Right?
Please don't. I'm trying to end the day feeling good.
So maybe the boiler would have been fixed 6 months ago if I owned the fucking house, rather than 6 months later, where we are still in a position, chat, where we have to turn our hot water on half an hour before we want baths and showers, have our baths and showers and turn it off again, because if we don't do that, we have the heating on all fucking day. Right? And it's fucking 18 degrees in a day. I don't need the heating on. Right? But I have to, like, so we have to go on. Everyone shower! Again. Everyone shower!
I've got that headache again. There it is. It's like an old friend.
And we all have to shower quickly. Quickly shower. And then we get out of the shower, turn it off again, because otherwise, gas and electric's fucking expensive. And if I didn't turn it off, literally, like, my boiler's off. Like, we now spend 23 hours a day with nothing but cold water and a kettle. It's true, though. Right, so I'd love to, like, if I won the £20 million lotto, right, honestly, I'd buy a house, right, I'd settle all my bills, I'd have no fucking finance, I'd build super secret project, I'd sort out my studio, I'd upgrade everything, I'd still have a ton of money left over because I wouldn't never have to work again, and I'd keep fucking streaming because I enjoy it and I love it. So So I'd never have to work again. But I would continue working because I like working. Right? That's it. I'm Holy, thank you for the 5. I saw a massive hike in anxiety and mental health during lockdown on ambulance shifts. Definitely we are social creatures, even if some of us deny it. Yeah, I think we are. And if people go, I'm introverted, I don't like other people, but you'll have that one friend or that one companion. That even if it's one person, and you can have one person and be introverted. That's not like introvert doesn't mean you have no people. You'll still have that one person who you'll spend time with and who you'll talk to. Guaranteed. 100%. Right, 100%. I had a house once. The ex took it in the divorce, but the loan is still in my name. Treat yourself. 20 million, so 2 Wallers there. Nordos, thank you for the 1. Up to 81 tonight. We were so close to 100. We started strong. I thought we were going to hit 200 in a night. We've got to 81. Just in time. For the loose fact. I have to press a button. Hang on, you're not ready.
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's okay, because I've got to update my member thing. Update my membership thing anyway. And drink more mead.
Okay. I need to practice this word.
Okay. What's the word? Practice the word now? Spell it. Use it in a sentence.
I don't know how to say omphallophobia.
I mean, I feel like she's just sport the fat there. Right?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Okay.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay.
Omphallophobia is the fear of belly buttons.
It was literally the first word as well. I feel like you just flat fucked that fact by saying it straight away.
Did it sound like it was a natural
I sound
go
like
at the word?
it definitely sounded like you hadn't practiced it on stream.
Right, okay, good. That's what I was going for.
I would love to work, but unfortunately due to health issues I'm not able to. But at the same time I'm starting to like my life despite the health. I'm finding I'm a lot more relaxed. I mean, it's good you find the positive though, Andy, right? John, pack it in, John. I mean, he's behind Mandy, but pack it in, John. Right? Thank you so much, man, for the 20 gifted memberships to end on. That hits us on 101 for the night. 520 in total for the month already. You people are incredible. Daddy John McCardle. Big Daddy John. BDJ. That's his name. A fear of belly buttons. Is that a thing?
It's in here, so yeah.
Right. There's a lot of facts in there, Luce.
What is it about the belly button that people fear? What is it? Is it?
But there's lots of weird actual phobias that exist though, isn't there?
Do you know what though? I feel like, so if you touch your belly button, it feels like bleh. Feels bleh.
What do you mean bleh?
Bleh.
I have to dig the fluff out of it all the time.
It's a weird feeling. It feels like it's still like connected to my spine somehow. I don't like it.
You're saying you don't want me to lick your belly button?
I wouldn't fear it, but it's definitely not like no, we don't need to talk about it. It's just a weird birth thing.
But there's lots of really weird fears though, isn't there? There's a fear, I can't remember the name of it. There's a fear of lots of holes next to each other. That's a thing.
Do they all have zips on their clothes then? No buttons.
What?
If they all fear holes next to each other, do they not do buttoned up things?
Especially when we're belly button fluff. My wife loses it if hers is touched at all, says Gunnar.
It's a
How do we find that out?
Blah.
John's like, I can't give more because I'm banned from 50 after the first 50. I'm fucking glad. I'm glad you're banned, you fucking lunatic. Pack it in. And I don't mind being behind Mandy. Wait. All right. There's a YouTube romance starting here. Right. Carl says YouTube just looking after you, John. Right. So, I mean, I feel like tryptophobia, the hive thing. That's the one. Tryptophobia. That's weird. Like, if you Google it, you end up finding videos of botfly larvae removal from dogs and stuff. It's fucking weird. You wouldn't like it.
No.
But it's one of those things, you know, do you ever Right, here comes a gross look into the life of Liam. Right?
Here comes the juicy stuff.
Feet up. Have you ever stumbled on like a YouTube or Facebook reel, not YouTube, typically Instagram or Facebook reel, across like spot pops?
Dr. Pimple
or
Popper.
like earwax removals.
Yeah. Love them.
I can't stop watching them.
I love them.
They're fucking disgusting.
Yeah. I think it's like that morbid fascination thing.
Disgusting, and I can't stop watching them.
It's when it goes like, poof, you're like, blah, that's gross. How did you let it get to that?
It's like people dig in things. Like I watched the other day a top lip that had a larvae in it that got removed.
What?
Yeah, he had a bug in his top lip, this guy.
How did that
Like a
get
little tyrannid.
there?
It was fucking horrible.
I've seen a big bogey be removed.
I have it, shush now, says Dangad. The fear of many holes is called tryptophobia. Yeah, exactly. It's a thing. It's a thing. Right, anyway, right, people. It is, however, past time. It's 5 minutes past 11 in the evening in the PM, which means we are over time. We're done. We're finished for the evening. We do, however, have a bonus stream on Sunday. There will be a Sunday show because we didn't do a Tuesday show because we gave Joe off. And why did we give Joe the night off, Luce?
Because he is a national treasure
And
that must be protected at all costs.
at all costs. We must protect Joe at all costs, right? So that's why he got given Tuesday night off. So we'll be back with the Sunday show. The Sunday show this week, we will be talking about 40k rules. So we can have a look at what's come out this last week. We can have a look at Necrons, Chaos Space Marines, Tyrannids, etc. And I look forward. We know that Astra Militarum are coming on Monday, so we can perhaps talk about what we want to see on Monday as well for the Astra Militarum. Okay, so Sunday will be a 40k based stream talking about 10th edition rules. It'll only be an hour. Okay, and it'll probably be 8 p.m. UK time. It does normally mean 8 p.m. UK time talking about 40k 10th edition rules. Luce probably won't join us because she gets super fucking bored. If you don't think you're going to get bored, come and join us at 8 p.m. on Sunday. Otherwise, we're back on Monday on the gaming channel, !gaming, with another Call of Duty stream with me and Joe and Mr. the War Hipster. Hopefully, possibly, probably. And then Tuesday, we come back with another live game of 9th edition that no one cares about. So if you've got an idea to we can make it fun, because no one cares about it, so I don't really know what we can do. Coronation Review, says Carl of Hodgie. I don't watch that show. It's on ITV. Don't like it. Or you mean the man who's just walking around getting jewels put on his head? No one cares about that. Anyway, right, people. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, you beautiful humans. Live stream the coronation. I'll be watching it.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it.
We're gonna watch it.
Because
we have a King of England now.
You never get to see all of our armies, navies, emergency services, people in their dress.
I'll be honest with you.
Never get to see it all at once.
I'll be honest with you. Considering the age of the king, we are going to get to see it again.
Yeah.
However, yes, it's the coronation. If you're doing something to celebrate the king's coronation tomorrow, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoy yourself. Stay safe. Look after yourselves. Because tomorrow's the sort of day where someone somewhere might try and do something fucking stupid, right? So make sure you look after yourselves. You people are incredible. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. You gorgeous human beings. Anything we'll say, Luce, before we go?
Nope.
Big shout out to Daddy John for the huge gifts. Big shout out to Kai. I'm so glad your little one's okay. Thank you for the 50. Big shout out to Shitters because he gifted over 50 as well. You people are amazing. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one.